Hello people, welcome to the unboxing and hands-on review of iPad mini. The Apple onslaught of Indian market continues with subsequent releases of their Apple devices. This is the new iPad mini, which is recently launched in India at the price tag of 41,900 rupees for the 64 gigabyte cellular model, which is what we have here this evening. And let's quickly unbox it and see what Apple has in store for us. So the iPad mini has a 768 by 1024 resolution with 162 pixels per inch pixel density. So it is quite exactly half of what iPad 3 has to offer. So it also has the Apple A5 processor along with everything the iPad 2 had to offer, except that it has a few better cameras. So let's quickly dig into the box. We have the iPad mini here itself. It's pretty slim and thin and very well designed. Feels very good in hand. So we'll keep that aside for now. Further into the box we have our manuals along with the typical packaging. We have the AC plug for Indian charger along with the lightning bolt connector. So no headphones as usual. So let's quickly power on the device and see what it's all about. Let's quickly pull this out of its envelope. It's very much what we've come to expect from Apple, and it slides out just like that. Wow, this is really good. If you can, I don't know if you can make it out in the camera, but this the matte finish is actually pretty elegant on the device. So it has a sort of a similar dual tones color scheme that is running with the iPhone 5, and so let's quickly take a hardware tour. On the front of the device we have the big and obvious home button along with the 1.2 megapixel front shooter, which does 720p video at 30 frames per second, and it has FaceTime but it's not HD. So that's why. And on the top of the device we have our power on and off button, a microphone, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Towards the right of the device we have the volume rocker, which is slightly modified from the original iPad or the iPad 3, and the silent switch. So moving to the bottom we have the iPhone 5 style speaker grill along with the Thunderbolt connector. To the left we have absolutely nothing, and we should have here is the slot for the nano SIM, as this is a cellular version which is 4G LTE capable. This is a nano SIM slot. On the back of the device we have a 5 megapixel shooter which does 1080p at 30 frames per second and has video stabilization built in. The Apple logo, the iPad logo, and it's pretty much the standard fare, except that the color tone is pretty vibrant and quite new. Not what we have seen in the iPad 3 or iPad 2. So that's a welcome thing. So let's quickly power on the device and see how the software on the iPad mini turns out to be. The screen is actually a 7.9 inches screen, which is exactly the opposite of what iPad 3 has. iPad 3 has a 9.7 inches screen. And the iPad 3 also offers a more than HD resolution retina display, although the iPad mini crams 160 pixels per inch screen. It's definitely not a retina display. So we have our typical iOS setup screen, which we'll go through and come back within a minute. Looking at the suite of applications that you get, it's pretty minimal. You get the iMessages, FaceTime, photos, camera, maps. The maps is actually Apple Maps, not the standard Google Maps. And you also miss the YouTube application, which is customary in iOS 6. And you have your photo booth, clock, reminders, newsstand that we all hate about. And let's quickly see what software version this iPad mini is running. So it's 6.0.1, which surprises me again because the iPhone 5 that we reviewed shipped with 6.0.0 without any update, and this one had an update before shipping, so it's quite okay. And let's quickly turn on Siri and see if it recognizes my voice. What's the weather like today?
I don't know where you are, but
The main obvious difference between the iPad mini and the new iPad is that the screen resolution. This is semi HD as opposed to the more than HD resolution or the Retina display on the new iPad. This is pretty obvious when you begin to use the iPad mini. If you are using the iPad mini for the first time, you will notice that the screen is actually pretty good. But once after going to the iPad mini after using iPhone 5 or iPhone 4S or even iPhone 4, you'll notice the difference that the screen is not actually all that great. So let's quickly compare the hardware of the two iPads. Here we have the front of the devices, which is exactly the same, except that the bezel of the new iPad mini is pretty thin compared to the iPad. On the top, however, things stay the same. You have the same 3.5mm headphone jack, the same power on and off button, the same microphone. On the right side, the volume rocker is actually modified a bit into two different buttons as opposed to a single chrome unified button on the new iPad. You have the same you have the same silent switch, and the iPad mini actually has the new Thunderbolt connector compared to the 30-pin connector on the iPad. On the left side, you have the SIM slot for the new iPad on the left side compared to the nano SIM slot on the new iPad mini, which is on the right side. So that's pretty much it. On the final note, iPad mini is at the end of the day an iOS device, which means that it has a wide variety of third-party application support that no other platform can offer to the consumer. So this is a winning factor of the iPad mini, that it has a huge content of library of games, books, applications, whatever, and they all function great on the iPad mini as much as they do on the new iPad, which is a great thing that Apple has done. And another important thing to note is that the bezel is a little too thin and it is a bit awkward to hold on in single hand. I have huge hands, so it doesn't make a much difference for me, but for some people this might be a little awkward to hold, which is one thing to consider. Be sure to go to the stores and try before you buy. The price of the iPad mini is also pretty hefty. It starts at 22,000 rupees for the 16 gigabyte Wi-Fi model. Although I don't see what's the point of having an Wi-Fi model, because this is a kind of device you want to keep in your bag and take it to places, because it's easy to, it's smaller than the iPad, so it's easy to hold, lighter than the iPad, so you can game on it for longer sessions than usual. So this can be the perfect companion for commutes. So having a cellular option is always good, but you can always get the external mobile hotspot devices. So the 16 gigabyte cellular model runs for 30,000 rupees, although I recommend getting a 32 gigabyte model, which is around 36,000 rupees. So at the end of the day, the app selection on the iPad mini is what makes it a winner. And despite a few design flaws, it is still an Apple product, and it deserves appreciation. So that's our unboxing and review of the new iPad mini. Please share this video, like, share it on Facebook, Twitter, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. So here we have the new iPad, sorry, the old new iPad, and so here we have the new iPad, the old new iPad, and we have the new iPad mini, which is